Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for being with us this afternoon. We'd like to welcome you to Miami Beat, a new television program that is being broadcast from CN Studios here in South Miami. And we'd like to thank Michael and Grant Miller for this opportunity to present this great and innovative new show that will feature everything that's going on in the entertainment industry throughout South Florida. And more importantly, we will have special guests, we'll have artists, and talk about activities that are going on here in the South Florida area. As always, I will always bring persons that have made a mark here in South Florida. And today we have one excellent new entertainer that has truly made a mark here in South Florida, that is a legend, if you will, one that I like to call a very good friend that has been entertaining not just in South Florida but throughout the world for many, many years. So I'd like to welcome at this time Carlos Oliva, the founder and the director and the singer for Carlos Oliva and the Judge's Nephews. Welcome, Carlos.
Thank you, René. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm very happy to be in the show and to be the first one here in the new show. I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you. Well, you deserve being here with us, Carlos, because you have certainly been entertaining us here in South Florida for many, many years. So talk about yourself, please. Tell me, where were you born? When did you come to Miami? And how did you get into the entertainment business?
Okay. I was born in Santo Espiritus, a small town in Cuba, in the Las Villas province. And I lived there all my life. Until I was a member of the Catholic Youth Association, you know, la Juventud Católica Cubana, and they decided to send me out of Cuba to study, to have a scholarship and study. So when I come back to Cuba, soon at that time, hoping we were going to be doing some more Catholic, proselytism and stuff. And they sent me to Colombia. I went to Colombia in 1961. I was there for 6 months, and I decided to come to the United States because my parents were coming, and waiting for the scholarship while I was here in Miami. And the scholarship never came, so I stayed here. I stayed in Miami and started working in all different kinds of jobs and things. And finally, I went into music. You know, I loved it. Music was my favorite thing since I was a kid. I used to play bongos and congas with the radio, and I knew all the songs and all that. So, that made me... I became a musician after that.
Well, you're very well known as an excellent singer, but you're also a composer, a writer. Mm-hmm. You have directed television shows. You have created jingles. You have done multiple things. Talk about that a little bit. Please tell us about the history beyond that.
Yeah, I have done so many things. We had one of the most important things that I have done, besides the jingles for the radio and TV shows, I had a TV show on WPBT for a while called Sunshine Rhythms, also called the Miami Sound, and I was the host of that show for a while, and that was part of my life. But the most important thing that I enjoyed very much was when we had the first hit, which was a song called Glorioso San Antonio. That took me out all over South America and Latin America. And when I came back, I was a little tired, so I decided to start producing other bands that had talent and had to give them the opportunity to see what I had just seen, and perform in different countries and all that stuff. So Emilio Estefan was one of my friends at the time, and he had a small band. He was all at that moment. He was getting Gloria and Mercy, her cousin, to be part of his band. And we decided to change the name because his band used to be the Miami Latin Boys.
I remember. And, I remember when the Miami Latin Boys were when Emilio was just getting started, and the Miami Latin Boys was very popular, playing all over Miami. And I remember,
they were
the
doing
band.
weddings and things like that. So when the two girls joined the band, it couldn't be the boys anymore. So they decided to go with the Miami Sound Machine.
Right.
And that's I produced the first 3 albums for them, and that sent them up. Emilio, very smart businessman, and he joined Sony. At that time was CBS Records.
CBS Records, correct. And then Sony Music signed Gloria Estefan to a multi-year contract.
Absolutely,
she skyrocketed.
Yeah. So aside from them, I did other bands, other groups. Camilo Valencia, which is now my
musical director,
or my arranger. He had a band called Friends, and with Tony Gundin and different guys from Miami, and those guys became the Judge's Nephews afterwards when I came back.
So talk about that. Let me ask you a question. This is very interesting because as Carlos Oliva comes into the music scene, starts producing, starts singing, and you become very popular. Where did the name the Judge's Nephews come from? How did that originate?
Okay, when I was here in Miami, started in the music business, and I went to New York with the maestro Julio Gutierrez as part of his band before the Judge's Nephews, and. After I left Julio, I formed the trio, and we wanted to call it Los Sobrinos, the nephews, but somebody said, "Whose nephews?" So at that time, Sammy Davis Jr. had was part of a show, Laugh In. And Sammy Davis had a phrase that he used to go, "Here comes the judge, here comes the judge, here comes the judge," and that was popular at that time. So we said, "Let's call it the Judge's Nephews," and that became our name for forever. And and I can't change it now. It's worth a lot of money.
It's a very catchy name, and of course, everybody knows the name Carlos Oliva and the Judge's Nephew. It's now engraved into all the musical history of not just South Florida, but throughout the world.
Yes.
Everybody knows you by Carlos Oliva and the Judge's Nephews. So then you started doing mostly Latin music. You were doing quinces and birthday parties and events and things like that.
Yeah.
But then you realized that there was an opportunity to merge what was our multicultural community here in Miami, and you created what is now known as the Miami Sound.
That is correct.
Tell me how did that come into your mind, and what brought you to that event?
When we came, I was in New York. We formed the Judge's Nephews, and we had the opportunity to open a club in Miami Beach called The Forge, a restaurant, very fancy place. And
I have to stop you because I remember in the early days of you playing at The Forge with the Judge's Nephews, and I went there.
We were a trio.
It was a trio, and I was mesmerized by what I was seeing because I walk into the Forge, which is a very elegant and expensive restaurant, to just go to the bar and have a drink, and I see this great group singing and playing behind the bar in a stage, a tarima, if you will, in Spanish, a stage that was behind the bar that you could barely stand. And you guys were standing there and you were singing and you were playing. I was mesmerized by how wonderful you sounded. That was when I first met you. That night I was with Tom Schutte, who was the drummer for the Rhodes Brothers, who was my roommate at the time, before Tom left to go away and start playing with Lionel Richie and all those.
I remember the Rhodes Brothers. Yes.
And so we went there and we were and that's when you and I first met. That was in the early 70s, if you recall.
Wow, that's correct. Yeah, the early 70s. When we came to the Forge, to open the Forge, Al Malnick was the owner, and he had refurbished the whole place, And we came to open the Forge, and when we opened the place, the guests or the customers were very American, So this 3 Cuban guys coming in, So we had to start pleasing them with the American music, but we still had our feelings for our Cuban music. So we started mixing both, both music, English and Spanish, and that became like a seal, like a stamp for us. People used to like to hear the American songs that were popular at the time, Fifth Dimension and all that stuff, and with a Latin beat, and our accent was kind of funny. That's what drew Connie Stevens to take us in part of her show to Las Vegas and all that stuff. And so there's a lot of stories, but the funny part is that we doing this mixture of Latin and American music. We started getting into what was Miami turning into at the time. The kids were going to the university and they were speaking in English, and it's half English, half Spanish.
Spanglish.
Yeah, and they were looking for the music also, not just going to an American place to listen to American music, but the combination of both.
So that's how you created what is now well known as the fusion of both the Spanish music and the English music, and that became the quote-unquote the Miami sound. Time magazine even wrote about it and said that you created the Miami sound.
Yes, they baptized me with that name. The creator of the Miami sound, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud, and I think it is a positive thing for our generation, our Cubans that came to the United States, and we were exposed to the American way of living and music and all that stuff, and bringing in our arroz con pollo, our lechon, yuca, our culture,
the Cuban culture.
Yeah, the Cuban culture, and our music, and that was good. Very good. I
remember that you took los sobrinos del juez, the judge's nephews, and you went to Las Vegas. What was that experience like at that time?
That experience in Las Vegas. I didn't know exactly what it was, at the moment, And now I look back and I go like, wow, we were the first band from Miami that went to Vegas, to perform, and I took advantage of it by learning all the things in the industry, working with Connie Stevens in her show. I was always very attentive to everything that was going on, and Connie loved what we did. She loved it, and the audiences liked it too, and we were very pleased with it. Yeah.
Is that pretty much where you felt that was the opportunity for you to become a writer, producer, director, and help other bands flourish and become very popular throughout the world?
The experiences that I got by going to Vegas and traveling all over the place, it made me feel like I wanted other bands in Miami to experience that, and nothing was happening in Miami, so I started producing, and I started my own record label, which was called Common Cause. Always, I was a dreamer, and the Common Cause Records, I put out a few albums. As a matter of fact, William Sanchez had just left the Bam Band in France, and he was in Miami. So I recorded him with he formed a band here, and we recorded a Charanga Sanchez, and I just trying to push all these people that had talent, so that people would know, that they existed,
Exactly.
And
sure. Now, and you're also very involved in the development and production of music for television shows, such as the Christina Show, Ocurrió Así, a lot of very, very popular international shows, and you developed all that music for them. And as a matter of fact, you won BMI. Awarded you an award as well for all of that music. How did that happen? How did you fuse into?
Well, with the help of my good friend Camilo Valencia, which is a great arranger, and he was with me all this time, we both team up and produce these things. And the Christina show was an important part of my life. This was a song that I wrote. I wrote a song for Christina's birthday, and when she got the show on Univision, she said, "I want my song to be the theme of the show." So she wanted that. So we turned it into the theme of the show, and it was very, very, very special. Very special.
It certainly was. I mean, it was iconic because it won an Emmy Award, and it was quoted as saying that Carlos is a symbol of creativity and talent, greatly respected by his own community as well as international. That's why you won that award.
Yes, I'm very happy that we did that. That was for Christina, and there was another award.
Ocurrió así.
Ocurrió así. That
was another show.
The news show.
Very popular show.
We did both, and
they won BMI Latin Theme Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
Talk about your involvement in the community. You are truly one of the persons that I highly respect for all the wonderful things you do for this community. You're always there, present whenever there's an event for nonprofit organizations and all that. Talk about that, and how did you get involved in that? I know that you were one of the founding members of the Kiwanis Club of Little Havana, and that you were one of the original members that organized the Calle Ocho and Carnival Miami events. Talk about that experience, how that was.
That becoming a member of the Kiwanis Club of Little Havana was a very a friend, Rafael Piñeiro, brought me in the club. He says, "You got to be a member of this club that we belong." And they wanted to do like a concert type of thing downtown Miami. And then at a meeting, they decided to do it like in the street, like a street party. Mm-hmm. And since I was a musician, I was in charge of picking out the bands that were going to play there. And that's how I started. And the first year was like 3 blocks or something like that, or 6 blocks, and then grew and grew and grew until Calle Ocho became a huge festival. And
it is today the largest Latin festival in the United States.
Yes. And that was incredible what we did with that. And I'm very proud. I did it for. I booked the bands for about 12 years until I couldn't do it anymore. So other people had to go through it, and Rafael Licea, some friends that were in the club, took over, and I used to advise them how to do it, and it was fun. It was fun, and I'm very glad that that was part of my aporte, ¿cómo se dice?
Part of your support for the community.
My support for the Kiwanis and
I was. I don't know if you remember, I was also a member of the Kiwanis Club of Little Havana. And back in those days, Rafael Licea and Leslie Pantina, all those guys. They appointed me to run the command post. So I was there with the walkie-talkies and radios. They're calling you on the radio saying, "The band didn't play on time, Carlos," and I was driving you nuts during the events all the time. But you did a great job coordinating all that music and all of those stages, which was a phenomenal experience. But you're also involved in other nonprofit organizations. There's an organization for special needs children that you recently performed at. Talk about that a little bit, because that's something that I think is very very close to your heart.
The Miami Power Team.
My Power Team.
Yes, I am very proud of being in that organization, and we just had an event the other day that was very nice. And those kids, they are beautiful, and I encourage everybody to support them. They do their thing, really good.
Good. I know that you have been awarded many awards by almost every city in the city of Miami. You've been awarded the key to the city of Miami, Hialeah, etc. But there's something that is very interesting about your career, that you have been awarded a star in the Walk of Fame in Little Havana. You're one of the few real true local artists here that have been awarded that, because along with Celia Cruz and other many international Latin entertainers, there are stars all along that walk. But you were awarded that. How did you feel when?
Yes.
When they,
That was. There's a little something. When I was getting out of my car the day I went to receive this, to be there with the star, I see Willie Chirino getting out of his car next to mine, and I said, "Willie, what are you doing here?" He said, "Carlos, I have to come to share this time with you. This is very important." So that was my start is at the McDonald's on 14th Street. It's pretty safe because it's part of the little porch of the McDonald's, and it doesn't get dirty. It's not on the sidewalk. It's a little bit inside.
So your iconic star in the Walk of Fame in Little Havana is also next to the iconic McDonald's in Little Havana. So people can go and enjoy a great hamburger and then see your star right there on the sidewalk.
Right. Yes, yes.
They will never forget you as far as that's concerned.
All those little things.
Let's talk a little bit about your the fusion of your English music with Spanish music, and maybe we can have Andres play one of your songs, which became very popular as part of your repertoire. And Andres, could you please play "Celebration" for us and let the audience enjoy this wonderful song? That's wonderful. That is such an iconic song. It's amazing that there's not one event that I go to, not one video that I see that you are performing in, that song does not come up, and everybody requests it because it's kind of like a celebration of your story, celebration of you as a wonderful artist that have been in this business, now, over 50 years, and all of the wonderful things that you have created and you have done. So congratulations, Carlos.
Thank you, René. Thank you very much. Thank you. That song really it shows the combination of the two cultures, of what we talk about, the Miami sound,
the fusion of the Miami sound, fusion, exactly, yes. Because it goes from English, a very popular English song, and immediately goes in not immediately, but somewhere in the middle, it changes into like a salsa beat, and everybody gets on their feet and starts to dance. So that is the Miami sound.
I have heard other recordings of the same arrangement, the same style, the same thing by other bands in Latin America. They feel like it. They like it. They like it.
Of course, they like it. I mean, what's there not to like about a song like that? That merges both cultures like that, and it excites people and it gets them up on the dance floor, etc.
Yeah.
Talk about what's in the future for Carlos Oliva. What are you planning to do? I know you still have your publishing company. You still write music. You're still helping other bands develop. Tell me a little bit about what are your plans for the near future.
Okay. Well, now the music has changed so much.
Very much.
The industry has changed so much, and there are so many things happening that I am a little bit confused, about what to do. I'm still writing. I'm still recording things, and hopefully, we can get another hit. I have a song that was surprisingly a big hit for me, which is Pelotero La Bola.
Yeah, that was
everybody. Some people don't know me as Carlos Oliva; they know me as Pelotero La Bola,
right?
Because it was. And I wish I could just put out something like that, for the new generations.
How has the change in the music industry affected you? Because it's gone from originally the LPs and the small cassettes and the CDs, and now everything is digital. How has that affected your ability to produce music and and get it out there so that people will hear it?
It's kind of confusing now because when I had my record label, I printed vinyl, and then we had cassettes, we had 8 tracks, we had reel-to-reels. All of that is gone. And now you have to record a song and make a video. If you don't make a video, the song is not going to get played anywhere.
Right.
It's got to go along with the video, and of course that's more expensive for a new artist to come out. So I don't know. The technology has helped new artists in a certain way, but there's no big band sound. There's no, it's just everything is electronic. I don't know.
Do you think that the big band sound will ever come back, where you will be able to go to see a concert? And I noticed that recently, as a matter of fact, I think it's next week, the Doobie Brothers are coming to town, and they're going to be performing. I mean, the original Doobie Brothers, and with Michael McDonald. And do you think that type of music will ever become popular again, or you think it'll all be digital and it'll stay within the electronic industry?
As far as the names, they will still, be performing with their big bands, like I do too, with my band, of course, it's 9 musicians and all that. But the future, I think the future is going into more of the technology of the
the new technology
the
era,
new styles,
new style,
and the lyrics. Of course, their
lyrics have changed a lot too.
I don't want to put them down, publicly, but
I don't want to put them down either because they're making a lot of money. They become multi-millionaires.
Absolutely, yes.
So, Carlos, once again, I want to thank you for being my first guest. And I want to thank our audience for joining us and being watching this show, the Miami Beat, which will be air every Friday at 1 p.m. And I also want to let our audience know that next week I'm going to have an artist which is a very good friend of yours, and you like her a lot. You have performed together. Lucy Grau is going to be here in our studios with us.
Yes, love her.
She's a wonderful artist. She has a great voice and a tremendous amount of talent. So I'm looking forward to that interview. Again, thank you very much. I want to thank everybody for watching our show today. And I want to thank Carlos, and I want to thank Michael and Grant Miller for allowing us this opportunity. Don't forget to tune in every Friday, 1 p.m. We're going to be right here in this studio. And I want to thank our technician, Andres. And I also want to thank a very good friend of ours by the name of DJ Leo, who created this wonderful logo for us. So, Leo, thank you very much. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful afternoon. Stay tuned. See you next week.